So for those that haven't heard, I guess we have to like go pretty far back to give the Strawberry context. Right around the time when Sam had gotten ousted from OpenAI, there was a lot of conversation about why. Why did all of those things happen? Why did Ilya leave eventually? And the word on the street potentially leaked. There was some amount of confirmation to this leak, but I don't know if it was like fully confirmed beyond a reasonable doubt. But it was around that OpenAI had developed this new architecture for their models. So on top of all the things they normally do with their models, they would add a new step into inference. And this is what you might have referred to as Q-star. And I've seen a bunch of different takes on what that step is, but it generally has something to do with some sort of tree search, exploring the different paths that the model can take and figuring out which path will yield the best response. And so there was a lot of excitement around this idea of Q-star and how it could take our existing models, which are already scaling up and getting smarter as we learn how to train them better and get better data, and then make them even better with this sort of architecture shift for inference. And so I think that level sets on what Q-star is. So then more recently, I forget who it was, some major news organization reported that they had insider sources from OpenAI telling them that OpenAI was working on a new project, new model architecture, maybe both, called Strawberry, codenamed Strawberry internally. Then about a week later, there were pictures circulating on Twitter of an OpenAI party in downtown San Francisco where they were serving strawberries, sort of like big bowls of strawberries, sort of confirming this rumor that something was going on. And then right around this time, there was this strange anonymous Twitter account that was getting it was starting to get some attention, some traction, claiming that it was Strawberry, and it was an AI agent that was being sort of demoed out on Twitter to, I guess, raise hype or to test the product. I'm not sure what the given justification was.
And using Joaquin Phoenix's likeness from Her, so pulling on the Her analogies. Also, for the audience, this Q-star is not related to the 4chan Q that you may hear about in political circles. Very different things, but both using the same letter.
And both, having conspiracy undertones for sure. So there's, more related than it might seem on the surface, but it's a good call out. It is not QAnon. It is an anon Q in this case.
Yes. Yeah. An anonymous Q.
So I'm just going to pull up the guy's profile. So if you see him, you know what I'm talking about. His handle is I Rule the World Mo. And he's been making a lot of noise. Right around when these strawberry rumors started gaining traction and getting a lot of sort of airtime on the internet, Sam May interacted with one of this guy's posts, seemingly sort of confirming that he was at least affiliated or related. He was making wild claims, and so the fact that Sam would choose to interact with him made a lot of people think that some of his claims were true. I think there were some people who were interested in the idea that he might be an AI agent. He additionally was claiming insider knowledge at OpenAI, and I think my read is that there were more people interested in that insider knowledge than there were people interested in if this guy's an agent or not.
Yeah, but part of the fantasy was maybe this was the model, right? And they were testing it, and it was,
So this guy blows up, explodes over the last couple weeks. And, that was due in part to Sam interacting with him. Of course, the AI community on Twitter is the type to pick up this kind of thing and run with it. So there are a bunch of factors as to why, but it's clear that the algorithm had a lot of love for this Strawberry man. And so over the last week, he started making more specific predictions about what would happen this week. That interested me because it would be a way for me to figure out if he has insider knowledge at OpenAI or not. And, the fact that OpenAI itself was playing into some of this Strawberry hype made me interested that he might have some of that insider knowledge, or there might at least be insider knowledge to have. Right. Yep. Coming around the corner. And so then, he made these specific predictions. These predictions included, I think it was something that has already come true, which was agent eval, like some new version of agent eval that OpenAI worked with both the ChatGPT team and externally the team that made the original agent eval to try to make the best evaluation framework for this is not agent eval, sorry. This is it's like a software dev eval. We'd have to pull it up for the actual name. But
SWE Bench, something like that.
Sweetbench. Yep. Thank you. And Sweetbench Verified is the new version. And so that was a correct prediction. And OpenAI put out a blog post this morning. He also talked about a new model on Thursday that would come along with this Q star development as well. So it would be a larger version of GPT-4o, which is a multimodal in and at some point hopefully multimodal out model that tends to meet, I would say, a lot of the benchmarks of the sort of previous half generation of frontier models. So like the GPT-4s, the Claude 3s, struggles against Claude 3.5 Sonnet in some specific domains, but really overall it seems like a very performant model. And so, and it also works really quickly. Inference is very fast, and so we already knew it was smaller than something like GPT-4 or even GPT-4t. We don't know the exact size, but this morning OpenAI put out it was like a couple hours ago. They put out a model card and some specs for the original GPT-4o finally. So I'm excited to get to dive into that. And then the prediction is that there's a larger version of this model, maybe more akin in size to the GPT-4s or the Claude Opuses, with all of the advancements in both training and this secret Q-star inference time advancement. They're all going to package together and come on Thursday as a brand new world-changing model. This is the claim. So, given that some of the claims that he's made in the last couple of weeks have come true, I'm still interested in what's going to happen and why OpenAI is also playing into the strawberry hype at this time. Then there's the separate question of, is this guy an agent? And so the most chaotic Twitter space of all time potentially happened today.
It sure was.
And it was, the goal of it was promised to the viewers that Strawberry would unmute and talk for the first time and maybe answer this question of if he's a human or an agent. I strongly believe that he's a human, but a lot of people are curious. Right. So, and I wanted to hear him talk. So I tuned into this. It ended up being like an hour-long space. And the hosts, really to their credit, were trying to do the best they could to keep it on track. But, Strawberry never unmuted. It seemed like just a way to build more hype and get a bunch of people together and make more noise. And then at the end, there seemed to be some sort of admission from Strawberry that he's a human because he said he released a statement. And I think the statement is on his... he posts a lot. There it is.
Yeah, and for folks who didn't torture themselves for an hour in this space, it was a lot of AI hype accounts all trying to argue that they had more insider knowledge than the other. Half of them were saying, "Oh, I don't know what I'm allowed to say." Everybody's trying to pretend they are Deep Throat. They know all the secrets, and it seems like none of them actually know the secrets.
Yep. And so this, this was the statement that he put. He refused to unmute and speak, but he sent this statement in DMs and it was read. And the moral is that he says that, Sam actually made a mistake by interacting with me. Playing up this kind of hype is irresponsible or dangerous, and it gets communities losing sanity. Whatever. We should listen to the common rational adults. I guess this is implying Sam is not a common rational adult. I don't know what Strawberry Man thinks of himself. Does he think he's a common rational adult? I don't. But but I'm just curious where the right to make this statement and do all this and lie to so many people comes from. But this to me reads it as an admission that he is not an AI and that he played it up to prove a point, which was that Sam was being reckless by interacting with an account that was making such outlandish claims.
And people, like, the most charitable idea I could give it was, so in part of the space, a CEO of an agentic framework came in and sort of said they couldn't confirm or deny if their thing was using it. I don't know that people have a lot of confidence he did actually use it. Like that this was somehow powered by an agentic framework. The most charitable answer is maybe there's this experiment of human AI hybrid on an account, seeing if it could generate hype. But I'm with you. I don't see a lot of evidence that this is anything other than a troll account that that got a lot of
Mm-hmm.
hype, and the predictions make it interesting, right? It had just enough truthiness to it that it really went wild. Maybe it is somebody with some vague knowledge, or they just made a good prediction that OpenAI tends to put things out when other companies have events. So
Yep.
Google, of course, had an event today, and maybe they just rolled the dice on, well, odds are they're going to put something out in line with this event. And they were right.
Yep. And I think, whether there's we'll find out probably on Thursday if there's any amount of inside knowledge here.
Right. Thursday's
there
the
were
test.
some impressive predictions today, and we'll see if that holds on through Thursday. I'm not putting a lot of faith into it, but I also wouldn't be shocked if something did happen on Thursday. I think that's sort of where I'm at. And then on the space, my take is here on the right side of the screen. But I appreciated what the host did to try to get this information out and answer this question.
Right.
I think it's ridiculous that, Chris was saying that like a bunch of the people talking on the space were AI hype people with no job who spent all their day on Twitter. But a lot of the people listening to this space were people who were like trying to, get back to a meeting or get back to work, people actually working on AI. So, this guy who claims to care about AGI is like wasting 200 hours worth of AI development time, which I know there wasn't OpenAI employees on this space, but I just think it's a little silly that this strawberry man thinks he has the right to waste everyone's time.
Yeah, it was odd, and I think it's one of those fun little AI Twitter spaces, right? Twitter's not reality. We have to remind ourselves, X is not reality, but it tends to drive a lot of the discourse, right? It got everybody talking, got everybody interested. I think there's such a hunger for the next model. People want AGI to be here sooner rather than later, and I think the answer is this stuff takes a lot of time, and you're going to get stuff like this in between big announcements. You're going to get people trying to take advantage of that longing, right?
Yep.
But, little drama in the Twitter sphere.
I think, and I would hate to see, it already has happened to some extent, but I would hate to see AI Twitter go even further in the direction of NFT Twitter.
It has that risk for sure. Well,
it's already there. It's the closest thing to NFT Twitter I've ever seen that isn't NFT Twitter already.